What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Trevor Steele, and over the last 13 years, I've taught over 621 students how to fly at my paramotor school, Backcountry PPG. I have Chris here today, and I want to talk about the kiting gliders. What are the differences? Why do you want one? Do you want one? All of the things related to that glider. Let's get right into it. I'm just happy to be alive today. So Chris, you've never used a little kiting glider, and I want to tell you some of the reasons why I think it's worth the investment and the differences between the two.
Okay.
The biggest thing with these kiting gliders is that the most important skill set a paramotor pilot can have is the ability to control that glider on the ground. The reason that is so important is because if you ever find yourself in turbulent conditions and or in the future you want to progress into more energy or paragliding or any of those things, having a better understanding of controlling that glider on the ground is going to directly translate to having a better understanding of controlling that glider in the air. So let me ask you, do you want to drag and slam your flying glider into the ground all day?
No, I would prefer not to. That's the thing that I take flying with me. I don't want to abuse that. I want it to be in as best a condition as it can be. Yes,
that is the biggest selling point of the little kiting gliders. Typically, the price points are very different. The kiting gliders are somewhere around $1,600 or $1,700, whereas flying gliders are somewhere around $3,800 or $4,200. So quite a difference. The last thing that you want to do is bring your $4,200 brand new, shiny, beautiful flying glider out to the dirt field and drag it through the grass, dirt, rocks, weeds.
Yes.
That is the main reason and the main benefit of the little kiting glider. It gives you something you can use without hesitation, without frustration, or without real abuse on your flying wing that you can practice with. You could take it out in any environment and also more conditions because it's much smaller. So the smaller fabric is going to produce less lift, less drag. It's not made to lift you. It's not made to fly. It's just made to kite, which means you could take it out of more wind. So like if you came out here and there was 10-mile-an-hour wind and you pulled up your 25-meter glider, it's going to drag your booty down the field.
Yes, sir.
But you pull up the little 14 kiting glider and it will just sit up there and give you the ability to practice. Anytime a student is coming through our ecosystem, I am not opposed and in fact encouraging of them getting a kiting setup, a harness, a helmet, a wing, a bag, all of those things. We actually offer what we call a kiting kit. We'll put a little screenshot of that up here. And the reason I encourage you to get one is because if you go out and use it, it will pay huge dividends in the longevity of your flying career. Having something in the back of your truck that you can just whip out at the truck stop because there's a little bit of wind and kite for 15 minutes, oh, it makes a big difference. And let's just say that you finish class and you ordered your gear during the training and there was a bit of a wait before you got it. You can still go home and continue to practice, continue to touch the glider and hook in, which is like surprisingly the most difficult part, and like go out there and use it.
Yes, sir.
Now there are a handful of things I really look for with kiting gliders. And there's one thing that's the most important for me. Firstly, the most important thing for me with a kiting glider is that it'll frontal and collapse on you. I know why that's so important for me?
Because that's a skill that you need to learn when you start working with energy management.
Not just energy management, but it's a skill set you need to have when you're kiting on the ground. So you have to remember that every minute that you spend hooked into that glider, every minute that you spend doing anything in life, and especially with paramotoring, you're building your muscle, memory, and reflexes. So what I've seen in the last 10, 12, 13 years of teaching is if you have a kiting glider that doesn't frontal and it just inflates and just sits there, which exists, you never learn to catch that surge. And then when you transition to the full-size gliders, which are more prone to doing that, now all of a sudden you totally don't know how to catch it. And I've just seen that be such a struggle point for people because there are kiting gliders that don't frontal. And the idea behind that is it's easier to use, right? I can put you on it. I don't have to worry about you catching the surge, and more quickly we can get you just like practicing the left and right. But that hurts pilots in the long run. It is like super important at the start that you're developing these habits correctly, these reflexes correctly. So the two main ones that I use are the BGDC and the Ozone Roadrunner. And I do have some opinions on the two. I wanna make it clear, I love both brands, I love both wings, I appreciate both for what they are. I say that, but I have a whole bunch of seeds in my inventory. So I have a bunch of new seeds, and I don't mind the seeds, but here's the biggest difference that I've seen. One thing I do find with them is that they are trimmed too slow. And so they start to sag as they get worn. And that is something I have seen with the seed, is that they get a little saggy. And so what we do to compensate for that is we either roll the A's, or we actually zip tie the A lines further down, or tie a bunch of knots to actually pull the A's closer. That helps bring it up. So there's your like little pro tip if you've got a kiting wing and you find it hard to inflate. But if I was to pick between the two, my current opinion is that I would go more for the Road Runner. Yeah.
Why?
It doesn't get as saggy as fast. So I've got Road Runners that are 2.5, almost 3 years old, that have holes in like every inch of the glider. They're totally beat to crap. They still work just fine. And I have seeds that are 6 months old that don't have holes all over them, that are way too saggy, borderline unusable.
Well, that would make a big difference.
Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. So that, guys, is my opinion on those kiting wings. I definitely would recommend it. I do have 2 brand new BGD seeds sitting in stock right now. I'd love to sell those. So if you're interested in those, visit our website, backcountryppg.com, for more information. If you're looking to get into paramotoring and you want to learn more, I did a 25-minute video outlining our entire training program from start to finish. I've linked that in the description down below. I'd encourage you to go watch that, learn more about how our training program works, and or visit our website, backcountryppg.com, for more information. My name is Trevor Steele, and I will see you guys next time.